welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. I am back today with another July project as the guest designer for the ScrapRoom. If this is your first time tuning in, the ScrapRoom is a fabulous kit club that curates a flavor of the month kit, which has 4 mini page kits. Each kit is a little sampler of a new collection. Plus, you get fun extras like a sketch, the Freaky Fast Friday Formula Challenge, community support in a Facebook group, and you can also select some add-ons. So it's perfect for trying out some new styles and products without the full commitment to an extensive collection. A big thank you again to Rochelle and the team at the ScrapRoom for inviting me to play along this month. And it's truly such a treat to get to collaborate with them. I'm just going to show you quickly. This was my first project with the Simple Stories Happy Travels mini kit, and I created a double page layout. So today I'm going to be having some fun with a single page using up my leftovers from that first design. So I thought it would be fun seeing how far I could stretch the kit, and I thought this one still had plenty of charm left to share. I mean, you just can't leave any simple stories on the table, right? So if you love process videos and a little bit of chitter chatter, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of my July projects. And if you're joining me from the ScrapRoom community, a big welcome. And I'd love for you to subscribe here and then come hang out with me on Instagram at Scrap with Penny, where I share sneak peeks and finished layouts and a little behind the scenes scrappy life. Okay, so let's dive into what I have left over in the kit, and then we're gonna roll up our sleeves, grab some paper trimmers, and start having some fun. My July Simple Stories Happy Travels mini kit had the 12 by 12 cardstock sticker sheet in it, and it had 2 pieces of this beautiful sapphire cardstock and then 3 sheets of paper. So you can see I used some of the elements on that double layout, but there's a lot that's still here up for grabs, and I've got my eye on the camera, the car, the go, the key, the travel vibes, the flowers. So I know what I'm going to do, and I think there are some fun elements on here that I'll be adding to my single page. So the next thing I wanted to show you that I have left over are the offcuts from a postage stamp paper, which I'll show you in a second. And then all of these elements, well, this is foam, but all of these elements here were from my add-on embellishment kit that came with the mini kit, or maybe it was a die cut kit that came in the pack. I'm sorry, Rochelle, that I didn't detail it out, but at any rate, these are the leftovers that I have. And I've got 3 branding strips, which I always save those, and they've got designs on both sides. And then I've got 2 pieces of the first sheet of sapphire cardstock, and then I've got 2 offcuts from the Sunburst page that had the geotags on the reverse side. So I think if what I've got going on in my mind, plays out, I think I'm going to get 3 cuts out of this, 3 mats. So you'll have to see if I can pull that off. And I'm thinking this will be the foundation for my title. And I know I want to pull this in. This is a good little element. And I don't know about these. They've got some possibility for sure. So here's what's left of my 3 sheets of paper. So obviously the Sunburst paper was largely used up. What I have are some offcuts that came from the edges. So this page is completely gone. And then to back the camera, I had to come and borrow paper from this pink side, and then up here, this aqua. So I've got some kind of crazy sheets of paper left. And initially, I thought I would do something like this. But then the more I thought about it, I wanted to go with this less busy side and this floral, which I think is so sweet. And what I'm going to do in typical penny fashion is come in a little bit on this cardstock, and then I think I'm going to try and get the cardstock here again, and then I think I'm going to try and get it here. So I'm going to have to be creative with my photo placement, which I intentionally cut in the middle so that I could. And then I'm going to, this will be my broadest margin. So I'm going to trim this whole square down. But I've got a cute little idea, and I think it's going to be a fun little page. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll show you my photos. This is a quick little road trip that we made down to Waco. And that's why I thought these flowers would be fun. And I thought that it would be fun to go ahead and make a page about that. So I'm going to do a simple little block format with my photos, and I'm going to trim them down. And if I can swing it, I would like to do another cardstock mat around them. So it's just going to depend upon how I can make my cut stretch. But I love to layer up paper. I really do. And so let me get started. I'm going to start first with trimming this down, and then I'm going to come here and start gutting this. What I'll do is I'll do even cuts around the edge. Well, I might actually come more off over here so that this, will be covered up. And then okay, so I'm going to cut here and here so that this and this have the best chance of being right behind the floral. The next thing I'm going to do is gut this sapphire. And so what I'm wanting is a piece of paper that I can mat underneath this. So I have this much of a margin, and if I cut at 0.75, it's going to go here, and that'll leave me enough strength on an exterior frame to then put underneath this piece of paper. So I'm just going to show one side of this. You may already be very familiar with gutting paper, but I just thought you could kind of see as I go along what my cuts are. So if you wanted to do this, you'd be able to. So I've got all four sides gutted, and this will now come over here. Okay, I am back, and I did a lot of math while I was gone. The most important change is that I decided it was too much blue. And so I came in off of the blue and put the white behind, and I'm happier now. I wanted you to see that, here are the cuts that I'm going to cover up, and this photo mat is going to go right here. It's a little thicker than I might normally do, but it's because I know that I'm going to run a white stitch between the edge of my photos and the edge of my cardstock. And that's going to marry in the white. So this piece of cardstock ended up at 11.5 by 11.5. This ended up at 11.25 squared. This piece, sadly, it measures between, I eyeballed it, and it measures between 9 3/8 and 9 4/8. So what is that? 9 7/16, and I'm sorry about that. But you could go a little broader. This floral is 9 1/4 squared, and my photo mat here is 6.5 wide by 7 1/8 tall. And that gives me a 3/8 inch margin on the outside and about a 1/4 inch margin on the inside. My photos are down here. 2 3/4 squared, and up here 3 3/8 tall by 5 3/4. So this started out as a 4x6, and I just trimmed it down. Mainly I was trimming it down so I could get some consistent margins. And you know, you don't have to make it as hard as I did, but the deal is I'm working with what's left in the kit, and so that's why some of these measurements are a little funny. So remember, this, and this were one piece of cardstock. So I wanted you to see that. Let me go tape this down, and then we can work on stitching and embellishing. Just real quick to show you my pencil lines. They're very faint and hard to see on the blue, but to help me trace them, I put a piece of white cardstock up against this to see my margin. But I just wanted you to see real quick that I've got pencil lines here, and now I'm going to poke my holes, and then I'll stitch, and I'll erase my pencil lines before they're so hard to see, before I stitch. Before I erase these pencil marks, I just wanted to show you that if you're ever going to stitch like this, you want to make sure when you've got an intersecting line going on that you're going to have a hole there. So I pierce here, and here, and then I come get my corner, and that way it kind of helps me eyeball, make sure my corner is going to line up with both lines. Then the next thing I did was I came up here and I poked a hole here so that as I came up the column, I would align with this row. And then I did the same thing here. I poked here and here and here. And then of course up here, it didn't matter. But I just wanted to go over that before I erased it so you could see if you wanted to try something like this, just make sure you get all of your intersecting corners poked, and then as you approach it, you can stack. Sorry, that was all out of frame. As you approach it, you can make sure your distance is managed. So just make sure your intersecting lines are that those holes are poked first. I have finished up my stitching, and I know that I said I was going to do a white stitch, but I got a little bit into it, and it was too much of a pop. And so I wasn't looking for a ton of white. What I was really looking for was a little bit of texture. And so my answer on stitching is when you're just after a little bit of texture, then go tone on tone. And so I made the change, and I'm very happy with that. And then I had these strips left over from the Sunburst from the double page, and I had thought that would be a fun little way to set off the floral, and so I've got those taped down. I believe that I'm going to do my journaling right up here, and I've typed it up, and it's 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's not the full length, but I haven't printed that off yet. I need to print that off actually. I do all of my journaling on my PictureMate 400. Well, when it's computer journaling. And the reason I do that is because my son told me a while back he could never read my handwriting, and so I just made the change. I have gone through my embellishments, and so here's what I'm thinking. These are kind of together. So I'm thinking this little camera up here would be fun, and I brought in the phrase road trip, and then I thought I could put a little pink there, and then I thought I could come up here and do a third flower and bring in the blue, and then I would have the bulk of my colors represented up there in the corner and a little trio of flowers. For my title, this is the phrase. So when you get your kit, you're getting a portion of the foam sticker sheet. You're getting a portion of the die cuts. And that's great because, you know, you don't need all of it. And so my phrase that was in my kit is exploring. And so I think that's going to go right there. I did go to the sticker sheet and I pulled this off, this somewhere, anywhere, and it'll go right in there, and it'll tie into this black up here and the black in the camera. I thought this little car was too cute, and I realized that it might be driving off the page, but one way to solve that problem is when I put this into my album, if I put it on the right side, then my car is going to be driving into the 3 rings, and so I don't feel bad about that. This little, let me scoot this over a little bit. This little set of keys was too cute to leave behind, so I grabbed that, and it also says road trip on it, and I'm good with that. I found this little you are here. It's like a, it's like a ticket thing that you pull out back in the day when you were trying to go get ice cream at Baskin Robbins. And so that says, you're here at Magnolia table, which is, part of where we went. I got this little pink heart, which brings pink down here. And then I grabbed this orange flower. So I've got my colors represented down here. There's a few more flowers on the sticker sheet. And, I meant to get this one. So I can do something like that. Yep, that'll be perfect. So here's what's left on my sticker sheet. And I feel like I pulled off everything that would work for a, hour and a half away road trip. So I pulled the camera, I pulled the car, I pulled the little flowers, I pulled the key, I pulled the big flower, I pulled this little flower, and I pulled 2 more phrase strips. Now, when I get my journaling down, I might want to put something up here, and it might very well be this Happy Travels tab with maybe one of these pins in it. So I have an orange pin that was on my part of the foam stickers, and so that we'll see where that goes. So I think what I need to do next is get my journaling printed, and I feel really good about all of this. The journaling will be my triangle, so I'll have 1 area, 2 area, 3 area. So that's kind of my thought on it. And I think in looking at this, you wouldn't know that I used leftovers, so I love it. And I'm gonna get this stuff taped down, and I'll be back in a second. So I do have my journaling printed, and I thought I would just show you real quick in case you're new to my channel or this is the first video you've watched of mine. I talk about this a lot, but this is a 5-inch wide piece of paper, and I use the Google template that Nicole Coley-Bean shares through a link on her YouTube channel. And whenever I put the journaling strips onto a layout, I always link her tutorial, and I think it's just a fantastic idea. So this is the die, and what happens is you just line it up onto your journaling and then run it through your die cut machine, and you're going to get these perfect strips. I seldom go the whole width. It's just a quirk I have, but in this instance, I don't want to come all the way out here, so my goal is usually a confined width, and I always gauge my height, like I said, just by using the die itself. So these will pop up on foam, and I'll do that after I trim them down. So here's where the magic is. Voila! Perfectly uniform and spaced out journaling strips. And here's the 1/8 inch by 2 millimeter, I think, or 1.5 millimeter foam tape that I get off scrapbook.com. So I'm going to trim this up, pop this on, and then I'm just going to lightly place it up here and test out the placement. So I have my foam on the back, and I went ahead and placed down that Happy Travels wood grain. It's just lightly on there. I'm probably going to put a little bit of foam here so that it steps up, and then I like that little pin, so I'll shimmy this journaling up to kind of split the gap from here down to here, and get my placement right. And so I think this is going to be the last step, is just to tape all of this down. When I was pulling all of these embellishments, I wondered, did you follow Chip and Joanna on HGTV back when they were so popular? This was in 2018, and so they were still on the regular channel, and man, I loved them. I thought they were so funny. When they moved over to Magnolia network, I didn't pay for that, and it might be part of my YouTube TV now, but I haven't actually explored it. So it was fun to share a little bit of that with my Tennessee kiddos. And what do you think? I think it looks pretty good. And you know, if you've got a little road trip, this would be great. So I liked using the stickers because I knew everyone that would be working on the July kits would have the sticker sheet, and so this would be really easy for you to replicate. So I hope that you've enjoyed it so far. I'm going to tape everything down, and then I'll be back with a wrap up. We'll pull back the double layout that I did, and then we'll look at what I have left from the Simple Stories Happy Travel mini kit. So while I tape this last of this journaling down, I wondered if you are a regular ScrapRoom subscriber, what has been one of your favorite kits so far? And do you work on them right when they come, or do you save them up for when you travel to a retreat? It seems like such a great concept, so I can see why it's so popular. Let me make sure, since I'm on the third row, that I'm staying true. Yep, I think so. I have had a lot of fun challenging myself to use all of this up, because it's just so easy to get your flavor from it all. And why would I want to work this into my stash when I can just make this adorable little layout? Okay, I think that's what we're looking at, and I think it's all straight. So I thought I would just add this little pin in behind it right there. So there we go. We are all set. Let me gather up my leftovers, and then I'll close this out. Okay, so here I am with the wrap up, and look at this goodness. 3 beautiful pages that came out of a 3-piece of pattern paper kit and a 2-sheet of cardstock kit. I did supplement a piece of white basil and a piece of white basil from my stash. That's just my prerogative. You certainly could have used the sapphire here. And there are other sheets of cardstock in other parts of the kit as well. So lots of opportunity. I did want to show you what I have left. These are from the add-on kit, the embellishment add-on kit. So these are all die cuts. This is the only piece of foam I have left. And then these are the offcuts from cutting up this piece of paper to create these postage stamps. So my 3 sheets of paper were the Sunburst, and I'll put up a little screen picture of the kit before I started tearing into it. The Flower, which is the pink ledger on the back. The Arrow, which is, what's the reverse of it? Oh, the postage stamp. Yeah. So you'll recall I gutted the inside of that postage stamp sheet, which left me this exterior. And this Sunburst was all but used up on the first layout. And I made these tags out of pieces of this sheet and this sheet, just using white cardstock I had on hand. And yeah, so here are the stickers that I have left. You could, this is, you know,
there's enough here for a whole other page. And the nice thing about the Simple Stories lines is that their color palette works across their other collections. So you could totally marry this with any of their other travel lines that you have in your stash, maybe even a previous month of a Flavor of the Month kit, and certainly have another great layout. And so that's a wrap on today's layout, which was a single page made entirely with the leftovers from my first project with the Simple Stories Happy Travels mini kit. And I hope that you enjoyed seeing how I worked the remaining bits and pieces to stretch the kit even further. And if you caught my earlier video on this, you saw that I used the kit initially to create a full double page spread. And between that layout and today's, I feel like I got great mileage out of just one part of the July Flavor of the Month. We went over what I had left in the kit, and you can see really just how far one of the little mini kits can go. So a big heartfelt thank you again to Rochelle and the ScrapRoom team for inviting me to be part of this month's creative fun, and I've had a great time playing with this kit, and there's still more to come. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss anything, and come say hi over on Instagram at Scrap with Penny, where I love sharing even more of the stories behind the pages. And please plan on coming back, because I'll have more projects with the other parts of the July Flavor of the Month. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, happy scrapping.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.